Welcome to SIS Stories. This is Miss Bacigalupo's English 10 class, storytelling under the theme, Enter, Return. This is Chloe's memoir. Listen to her speak about what happens when she enters into something of a misadventure in Korea.
It was crowded and stuffy, and the dim fluorescent lights from above shines over everyone as they make their way to their locations. The aggressive shoving of the restless businessmen filled the subway. "Make sure to stay behind me," my mother cautioned. Annoyed, I rolled my eyes and continued trudging alongside her. I came to Korea to ski, not to come to some random subway station to get pushed around during rush hour. Some incomprehensible Korean blasts through the speakers, and the incoming light of the subway blinds me. As I raise my hand to cover my eyes, I lose track of where my mother goes. The speakers continue to blabber on, and I hear the subway doors close. I rush to the edge of the platform just in time to see my mother frantically searching left and right, and as she looks up, I'm pounding on the doors of the subway on the other side. Her jaw drops as she realizes who she has left behind. And as the subway starts moving, I run alongside it like some cliche Korean drama, screaming and begging for it to stop and let me on board. Seconds later, I find myself completely alone, a 9-year-old in a completely foreign country, and I had no way of communicating with the locals. Okay, so tears threaten to fall as I hear the quiet shuffling of footsteps getting closer to me. A hand reaches for my shoulder. As I whip my head around, I'm greeted by two familiar faces. It's Stephanie and Emmy. They were both kids my age, and they were traveling with our group of parents. Their faces were red and blotchy, presumably from crying a few seconds earlier. We stand together in silence, comforted by the presence of each other. We pace around the subway station, and more people start piling in. We keep our heads down, trying not to draw attention to the three of us in the middle, clearly lost. We wait for what seems like forever, and we're shivering from the cold air that's blowing in from the staircases that led outside. Are we gonna die? Emmy asks. No one answers. Do you think they're gonna come back for us? Emmy tries again, attempting to break the silence. Misty-eyed, I manage to choke out the words, I don't know. We wait and wait for what seems like forever, and Stephanie, who has been quiet this whole time, begins pacing faster. She crosses her legs and fidgets. I look at her confused. She walks up to me with a sense of urgency and whispers, I have to pee. Her face was flush red, and she was really embarrassed. Really, right now, I ask her? She whimpers and points towards the gates of the subway. What if the parents come back and all of us are gone, I ask. Then Emmy can just stay here, it'll just take a second. So we rush towards the gates of the subway, and we swipe our cards, and the doors open, letting us out. I look back, taking one last glance at Emmy, who is leaning against the wall, alone. We run towards the neon green signs of the bathroom, and as I wait for Stephanie to finish up, I walk to a teenage boy. Do you have a phone I can borrow? I plead and beg him. But he answers back in Korean while staggering back before bolting off. I realize he must have not understood what I meant. Devastated but not ready to give up, I try again and again. I ask a middle-aged businessman, I ask a woman pushing a stroller, and I ask an old woman holding a cane. No one understands what I mean. Never before have I been put in the situation where no one understands a word I'm saying. A 9-year-old in a completely foreign country. I meet up with Stephanie, and we try to make our way back into the subway station. And we swipe our cards against the machine again, but this time it doesn't let us through. It's declined. I look down and it says it's a one-way ticket, meaning we can't get back in the station. Devastated and hopeless, I curl up into a ball by the side of the street trying to keep warm. The coldness and dampness of the afternoon seeps into my skin. I watch as the white puffs of air is released from my mouth. I look at the footprints in the soft snow. I wonder if I can manage to figure out which ones belong to my mother. I see a woman walking by with the same hairstyle, the same cropped hairstyle as my mother. I reach out to grab her, but when she turns her aside, I realize it's not her I'm looking for. At this point, I'm completely in tears. I don't know what to do. And Stephanie says to me, look, they're adults and they're parents. They're not just gonna leave us here. They're gonna come back for us, she says. But I'm still crying. And I reach for the soft, powdery snow at the side of my feet. And upon contact with the snow melts in my hand, leaving my fingertips numb. How can you be so sure? I asked Stephanie. She doesn't know how to answer. This is it, I said. This is how the universe is gonna punish me for not listening to my parents and being so ignorant and unbothered by my parents' concern for my safety. In the distance, I hear my name getting called. Chloe, Chloe, are you here? It's a high-pitched voice that I'm familiar with. I look around, trying to follow where the voice came from. Like an angel, my mother floats out of the subway station. Are you okay? She asks. Oh my God, I'm so sorry I left you behind. My high-strung 9-year-old body unraveled in her warmth embrace. Yes, I'm fine, I lie and tell her. Were you scared? She asks. No, I wasn't, I tell her again. She looks down and smiles at me. I missed you, she says. And I hold on to her dress. And I promise myself never to let go, never again. Thank you.